We're live.
We lied.
We're live.
Difficult for people to prove intellectual inferiority. That's why even in our textbooks in school, they don't like to teach our children about black inventions. Because even greater than our African history are our American inventions. Because from nowhere, you're coming up with things that revolutionize the American social and economic order.
Well, basically, there is a proverb that says that the only thing that peoples of European descent ever created was the patent office, because they stole everybody else's ideas and put their name on it.
During slavery, because you were the property of your master, a lot of what we invented was automatically given credit to the master. The credit was forwarded to the master because we was property. We weren't allowed to take fame or notoriety for the things we created.
Anything that made work easier. Why would white people want to invent something that make work easier when they have black folks to do it?
You have a huge incentive to try to get things to move smoothly so that, you don't get any more lashes, or somebody doesn't now have to sell someone else in your family. There was a lot of incentive to create inventions.
And that's another thing. Most of our black inventors had to deal with idea theft. White folks would come in and say, we did it first because we didn't necessarily know the process or have the money to patent our inventions. So white folk will find out what a black person invented and go do it real fast and get their application in, because back then the process wasn't as thorough as it is now. Whoever got their application in first to the patent office, that's who got the patent. So we got thousands of inventions by black people. We'll never even know it because of the fact that they were stolen.
They don't want anyone to know that we invented things. So if it wasn't for black people, white people couldn't take a dump. A black man invented the toilet, and he just made it white on purpose.
A slave by the name of Black Sam, Eli Whitney's slave, created the idea for the cotton gin, and his master took it and patented in his own name. How could he do that with no benefit of books? He wasn't even allowed to learn.
A lot of people assume just because African slaves were illiterate, they were ignorant. And there's a real big difference, because African people, they had a very elaborate language or elaborate languages over in Africa. When Africans were brought over here, they were taught a bastardized version of English, and they weren't even allowed to see the language written down. And they were taught the language by lower class Europeans who were living in the South. So even though there was that major obstacle, blacks still did phenomenal things. Thomas Edison was known for stealing people's inventions. He was known for taking the inventions of a few African-American inventors. Lewis Latimer, Granville T. Woods actually went to court with Thomas Edison, and Granville T. Woods actually won his case.
Thomas Edison tried to bring Granville T. Woods to court on that invention. And I just saw a commercial for Mazda, I believe, cars, where they said, here's a man holding 1,000 patents. Well, 90% of them he stole.
Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, who are probably considered America's two greatest inventors of all time. But guess who was designing their blueprints for the patent application? A black man. Now let's think about this for a minute. If you invent something, why do you need me to do the blueprints for the patent application? If it's your idea, how in the hell can I do the blueprints for it? You can't do the blueprints for my idea. I have to do them. So if Latimer is doing the blueprints, if he is your chief draftsman and he's doing your blueprints for your patent application, Alexander Graham Bell, did you invent the telephone, or did Lewis Latimer invent the telephone?
Thomas Edison had a whole troop of people that was in his sweatshop, and depending on the invention, he would hand it over to that particular department and tell them, see what it is that does, and then do something a little different, and we'll patent that. And when he took Granville T. Woods' information and tried to make it his own, the court said no.
The watermelon and black people stereotype, that came and that was popularized by Thomas Edison. Around 1890, Thomas Edison put together this Nickelodeon reel, and there were these African-American men who were joking around, shucking and jiving, and kind of mugging for the camera, and they were eating watermelon. And Edison filmed this, put this out, and the general public saw this, and they said, okay, African-American people must really love watermelon. And right after that film came out, thousands of postcards and all types of memorabilia flooded the market of African-American people eating watermelon. So that watermelon stereotype was popularized by Thomas Edison.
A lot of people don't know there's an African-American male who is significant, has patents on the first major computer chips that made computers operate.
Other inventors that we don't know about, essentially, who they call the father of the internet, was Philip Imagwali, a Nigerian man who essentially created the connection for quantum bits of information so that multiple computers could actually communicate with one another.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
With the knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow the Black Therapy Show. You be in a safe space, dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know, with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We'll be giving you empathy, we gon' challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all the schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God up above. No, it's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show. Let's go.
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
Hi, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome back, Kev.
Hey, God, we miss
What's up?
you.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back in the house.
Kev is on world tour.
On my world tour.
Yeah, you working. You making them to coins.
Rocking the Obama hat.
Hey, man. Hey, we only had one black president. I got to show him some love.
Okay.
It's only been one.
What was that thing about saying Bill Clinton was the first black president?
I don't know where they got that from. Why? Because he ate grits?
He played the saxophone. You know, that started when he was on Arsenio Hall show, playing the saxophone. And I guess black people was like, oh, he can play the saxophone and he's hanging out with Arsenio Hall. Then he's black, you know. So, but you know, we all know that.
And you do the history of him. He ain't black.
Yeah. But welcome everyone. Yvonne,
hey, everybody.
The music after he played the saxophone on Arsenio Hall, I guess they call him the first black president.
Yes, that's how it all went down, man. It all started on Arsenio with the saxophone, man. We got a song. You know, we're quick to adopt somebody. You know, our people, man, we adopt somebody quick. You know,
yeah. But I would take somebody black card or light skin card away quick fast. You get on my nerve. I'm like, taking your card for 6 months.
Bill Clinton was invited to the cookout.
No,
yes, no.
He was. Yeah.
He was not to my cookout.
Yeah. Well, like Kev said, we are quick to invite people to the cookout. People that are not even worthy, but you know, because we seek acceptance. You know what I mean? And that's part of the whole syndrome that we want to be accepted.
He wasn't a bad president, and I don't think he's a bad person. I think, you know, and real quickly, you know, he got caught up in the crime bill, but a lot of people don't realize the crime bill was popular among black people when it was passed too. Black people were asking for the crime bill, so it wasn't like him and Biden did this crime bill because Biden was part of that too. You know, people will get on him now. On the right, people on the right now go, well, you guys did the crime bill. But all the black people and black people in power back in those days, they were pushing for the crime bill. You know, I guess because crack cocaine was destroying our neighborhoods and at you know, alarming rates. So, you know, I guess something had to be done. Unfortunately, a crime bill wasn't probably the best thing to do, but it was an attempt to do something to stop, you know, what was happening. It was a war. Ronald Reagan's war on drugs didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, and if you hear it from Sister Soldier, he was the one that blackballed her.
Whoa, who?
Sister
Reagan?
Soldier.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Soldier?
He banned Sister Soldier. You got to watch her talk on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that's a whole deep thing, man. So
and she's
I try to talk about
people.
That. Yeah.
All right, so thank you to everyone for checking in with us. As you know, our topics can vary, and we can we can chat on any topic. And I think I put the original topic is going to be Black inventions, Black excellence that we have brought to America and the world. And as you saw in the video I showed, most of our inventions were stolen because back then Black people were not allowed to own anything. With that being said, Kevin, I want to go to your topic first because Kevin brought it to our attention. I don't know, Tiffany, can you roll with this?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I didn't know about this, but apparently there was a shooting at a subway in Atlanta.
Yes.
A brother went into Atlanta subway, bought a sandwich, it seems like, and didn't. I guess it was too much mayonnaise on the sandwich, and he just pulled out a gun and shot two sisters, shot two Black women.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about mental illness, but so anyway, here's the video, and then we're going to chat about this.
Shot and killed over mayonnaise. You heard that right. The person killed was an employee at a Subway restaurant just identified as 26-year-old Brittany Macon.
11 Alive's Paula Searle has spent the night getting to know a lot more about the victim. Paula?
Yeah, Ron, I spoke to her family on the phone tonight. Many of them too distraught, too shocked to speak to me on camera, but they didn't want to miss out on the opportunity of telling me how important, how sweet, and how hardworking Brittany was. This is Brittany Macon. Her family members tell 11 Alive she had just started her job at this Subway on Northside Drive about 3 weeks ago. Just before that, she worked at UPS. On Sunday night, police say a 36-year-old shooter walked into the Subway, killing Brittany and injuring another employee. Family members identified that employee as 24-year-old Jada Nicole, who police say is in critical condition. The restaurant owner, Willie Glenn, says it all unfolded because a customer thought there was too much mayonnaise on his sandwich.
Well-rounded young ladies, really hard workers. Everybody loved them.
Glenn adds that Jada had her 5-year-old son with her inside the store when it happened. Family says Brittany and Jada lived together and that Brittany loved Jada's son, who witnessed the shooting, as her own.
Someone who failed to resolve a conflict by just walking away, having a conversation to just reorder a sandwich, decided to take actions into his hands, and now we have families who are devastated.
Brittany's family adds that she was smart and sweet, so much so she planned and paid for a big family reunion a month ago for everyone to be together. That was the last time many family members were able to see her. She was a daughter, a sibling to 4, a cousin to many, and a hard worker.
I don't know what the world is coming to. Everybody wants to carry a gun. Everybody wants to, scare somebody with a gun. It's just, it's scary out here.
Now, Brittany's family tells me they were all supposed to be together, reunited for the 4th of July in Savannah. Instead, family members from Arizona and Savannah are flying in after this tragic and horrific incident. Ron?
Okay, Paula.
Sad story, right? I mean, Kev brought it up. He said he's just sick of the black on black crime. And I know a lot of people like to use the term black on black crime, but
I hate to use it too, man. I'm just thinking that this story is getting I know a lot goes on in the world, man, but this story should be bigger than it is because this is just like unacceptable, and I think if this was a white supremacy shooting thing, then CNN would be on the scene and MSNBC would be on the scene. Everybody, whenever if a white boy went in there and shot them and called them the N-word, all these news stations would be camped out front for a week talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, it's not getting talked about enough and why this type of stuff is happening. First of all, this guy had a record, a mile long. So he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have been on the streets. He should have been in somebody's jail or prison to begin with, So he's walking around, a proven criminal walking around with a gun and an attitude and obviously no respect for human life. So it's just a sad situation, man. I don't have the answers. I mean, like I said, we've been talking about this forever on this show. There's just too many guns on the street. But, I was in I was performing yesterday at a resort up in way up in Vermont. My first time to Vermont. Beautiful place, by the way. But I stop at a gas station. You know, I get out. I'm a little paranoid as usual because I'm the only brother within 100 miles of this guy. You know, so I get out, and this guy gets out right next to me at the same time out of his car, and he's dressed in regular old street clothes. And I'm looking at him. He got a gun on his side in a holster. And, you know, I kind of find out later, you know, it's an open carry state. He wasn't a cop. He's a regular old citizen who got out of his car, had a gun on his holster like he's in the Wild Wild West, just walking to the gas station, got some gas, and pumped his gas, got the car and pulled off. Like, that's where we at, man, where people just walk around guns and holsters like it's a freaking cowboy movie. Like, I don't understand it, man. I don't understand this love for guns, man. I don't get it.
I know Tiffany had mentioned a lot of it has to do with mental illness, and we don't want to address it, especially when it comes to Black people. We don't want to think that we're under any stress, but I think we live with it for so long. I mean, we see Black people murdered in front of our eyes, and it just becomes the norm. I mean, we saw George Floyd murdered, or lynched, or however you want to put it, in front of our eyes. We see videos where police chase down Black men and just shoot them, whether it's in the back. You know what I mean? So
I'm with Jay-Z on this one. I mean, yeah, but nobody's shooting. And I'm not advocating violence on our show, but as Jay-Z said, witch call still walking the streets. You know, the cat that killed Trayvon Martin. You know what I mean? So George Zimmerman still walking the streets, but all these badasses out here, you know, with attitudes, will walk into a subway and shoot an unarmed girl over some Mayonnaise, you know. So I don't know. You want to bring some heat? There's a lot of people you can bring heat to. You got a gun, you know where to find some heat. You know where the hood is. You go down there and have a gunfight with some other cats that got guns. You're a badass, you know. But you shoot an innocent girl like this dude in Buffalo, you know. He went to a grocery store and shot an 80-year-old lady, you know, and people that was unarmed. He knew how to get down to the hood in Buffalo where some brothers on the corner that packed guns, and he could have had a shootout with them if he, you know, they know. So these people, this mental illness thing don't fly with me.
Yeah.
Because if you're mentally ill, then if you're mentally ill, you don't go after innocent people. You're not mentally ill. You know you're shooting 4-year-old kids in the school that can't shoot back.
Kevin,
I'm saying, if you're mentally ill, you don't pick your victims. Like, you know those 4-year-old kids can't fight back. You know that the 70-year-old grandmother at the grocery store at Tops can't shoot back or have a weapon. So you can't pick. My brother and I were in D.C. one day walking, and we saw this homeless guy that was picking on every white person that walked by. And when me and my brother walked by, he didn't say anything to us. And my brother said, see, he's not crazy. You know what I mean? He had all this mental illness thing effing with white people when they walk by. But when we walk by, he didn't say nothing to us. So my brother goes, see, he ain't crazy. Because he knew, you know, who to pick on. Like, these shooters know who to pick on. So how you going to pull a mental illness card when you're picking your victims? You know you're going to a grocery store where most of the time people are unarmed, and these senior citizens shopping at a grocery store, or, you know, 4-year-old kids in a classroom. You know, if you're crazy, you're going to go run into a police station if you got mental illness. Run into a police station with your gun open. You know, go down to the hood in Chicago and run up on some gangbangers if you're crazy.
No, they're not going to do that. But every situation.
I mean, they're not crazy then, Tiff.
Yeah, no, but every situation is different. You know, that situation, no, I don't think that's something. I don't think it was mental illness. Something was wrong with them. They was very ignorant white people, or I think that young white man, something was wrong with him. Like, meaning he knew what he was doing. That was his goal. I'm talking about when you get to a place where people is shooting people for over mayonnaise. First of all, we want to give our condolences to the family. I can't even imagine, you know, what the family is going through, where they young people go to a job to work to get killed. It doesn't, it's just ridiculous. He didn't supposed to be on the street, period, because you also stressed his records. But I'm a true believer that something was wrong with him. He hate women. He hate women. That's a trait of something is wrong. He don't even need to be in jail. He needs to be in a mental hospital, locked up, and never come out ever again. Because if you can kill 2 people over mayonnaise, something is wrong with you. That's how I feel about it. You know, it's just horrible that we have to worry about this. We worry about our young people going to work, or you know, you anybody going to work. And I don't believe you said something about black on black crime. What about human on human crime? Why is another human being trying to hurt another human being? You know, because just like we have black on black crime, they have white on white crime. They have Indian on Indian crime. They have Spanish on Spanish crime, Chinese on Chinese crime. We just don't hear about those crimes because that's not our communities, because we really don't worry about them like that. We're worried about our own issues that we got. As you see, we have a lot of stuff going on.
That's why we have the Black Therapy Show. That's why we have the Black Therapy Show, so we can work it out. No, I'm saying we're just addressing Tiffany. We're just addressing our people hurting our people right now. That's all. And that's painful. We know that the Dylan Roofs of the world are out there. We know, but we don't expect this. You know, this is insanity over mayonnaise on a sandwich. This is just at another level of insanity. You know, I mean, we're all sitting ducks right now. I mean, you look at somebody wrong, you might be gone. You know, you blow your horn on somebody to cut you off on just a regular day. I do it all the time, man. Blow my horn when some guy cut me off or something. I might not be on the show next week blowing my horn at somebody. Right. You know, because that quick you can get shot these days.
So the message is you have to control your emotions. You can't go and hurt and kill people because you can't get your way. You should have just went in there and said, can I have another sandwich, please? Because there's no more mayonnaise. You don't go in there and kill somebody and take somebody's daggone life. And this should be a message. You see these situations, we have to take these as learning lessons, you know, not to make these choices. Talk to our children, talk to our young people about rejection. That's a real issue. We have issues with rejection. You're not going to get everything. Not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to get every job. You understand? Sometimes you have to move on. And now his whole life is ruined. Their whole life is ruined just over some mayor.
You know, I think the reason we say black on black crime is because with all the BS that black people have to deal with, you would think that we would have more respect for each other, because we got to go out and we got to fight racism, and then we got to come home and fight people that we live with. You know what I mean? So I think we kind of expect a certain level of respect for each other. You know what I mean? Because we're all in the same fight, we're all in the same struggle. And we shouldn't be killing each other. So I'm just thinking that.
So you expecting this from broken people in the hoods, broken people in these communities. Let me tell you something. When I go into the communities of my hood, and I be sad to see what goes on. It's sad. It's like they're stuck. And a lot of people don't want to branch out or don't even know how to deal with situations or how to take the next step or do change. It's a lot of stuff going on in the hood. And that's what, you know, we want to help more of. We need therapy. We need therapy.
That's what we hear, baby. hey, quick announcement, just in case anybody haven't heard. R. Kelly received 30 years today.
R. Kelly got 30 years and Derek Chauvin got 20.
Yeah. R. Kelly got 30 years today. He says 30 years. Yep, 30 years in prison for his crime. Yeah, and you're right. I never even thought about that. Derek Chauvin got 20 years. How about that for murder?
And the lady,
Maxwell, whatever her name is, yeah.
She got 20.
She got 22, yeah. So R. Kelly got 30 years today. So his life as he knows it is over at this point. He's going to appeal, but he probably won't win this appeal. So it's a wrap, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a wrap, man. What a
I
waste.
hope this is a learning lesson to people that is a part of the Get Along gang that allow all of this to go on for all of these years, to all the parents that took their daughters there to meet R. Kelly in a bow. Y'all, I hope y'all get it too. All the lawyers, the management, everybody. I hope y'all all feel this. I hope y'all, this is a message to all. Okay.
Well, I think the only thing, I'm sorry, let me cut you off. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's, we see now it's always been money over morals.
Yeah,
that's
well,
it.
he was a cash cow. That's what I was going to say. He was a cash cow, and the only hurt, they're not going to be prosecuted. But the only thing, they now lost that cash cow, that millionaire brother who was a musical, producer and genius in a way, is now gone. So that cash cow is gone. So yeah, the women, the mothers and parents took their kids to R. Kelly and all the, everybody that was involved in it. R. Kelly was the big fish that they wanted to fry, and he got fried today. So, he was the big fish. They went after the big fish. They always go after the big fish. They don't care about the little fish, Tiff and Carl. They got the big fish. They gave him 30 years. It's a wrap. But everybody else gonna walk and get away that, did wrong things in that whole situation, So, unfortunately, R. Kelly was the mastermind, I guess, behind everything. But, and he needed help. He needed help. He was
from long time ago.
And nobody got him help. Nobody got him help, and he didn't get himself help, and people that loved him didn't get him any help. Because you know why? Because he's a cash cow.
Right.
When you got that money and that power, everybody just want to just stay quiet and keep getting those checks. Hey, I'm just going to stay quiet and get these checks.
And he's another message. People, if your children are going through it or somebody is being raped or molested, please reach out. Don't be afraid. You understand? Mothers, fathers, look at your children, talk to your children, communicate with your children, because you don't know what be going on. But he was taken advantage of when he was young and never got help from that. And that's what you have it where you have people have their pain is what make them give their music and their art. And I'm not gonna lie, R. Kelly did the 90s crazy. The 90s was crazy with R. Kelly, but also R. Kelly was a broken man that went through a lot, and everybody went along with the get along because he was the money man, and they could have got him help long time ago. But we already know, like you said, he could have helped himself too, and he didn't help himself. So this is his consequence. This is 30 years that he has. So this is a message to all of y'all. Message.
Yeah, I didn't follow the trial that closely, but what I didn't understand is how, these were 14 and 15-year-old girls that were left at his house for months at a time.
Their parents, half of their parents brought them there.
But yeah, you know what I mean? And you leave your daughter at R. Kelly's house for months at a time, and she's
if you want a record deal, because you want a record deal, and when you get a record deal, you get millions of dollars, and everybody get paid. So R. Kelly's gonna produce my daughter, and and put her in the music videos and produce her and get her some hit records, and everybody's gonna get a Benz and a nice crib, and that's the American dream, right? And you sacrifice your 15-year-old daughter to be around a horny ass grown man for that reason, and then you get on TV and cry that you didn't know anything was going on, which I call BS. Of course you knew what was going on. But now you got to cry because now you got to write a book. You got to get some interviews with Oprah. You got to figure out another way to get the money now because your daughter didn't get no hit records. She got
and I blame the record company, the labels, all of them. They knew what they doing. They getting their money from him anyway. Even when he's in jail, they're gonna make money off him. When he leave this earth, they're gonna make money off of him. They knew what they was doing. So people, we need to wake up.
Gina said, "What's up, Gina?" Gina
Hey,
said,
Gina.
"Getting help is very difficult to get. System is broken."
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, there's no help for anyone that's having any mental issues. You're just told to deal with it, get over it, and keep it moving.
Because you got to have health care, and there's no health care for that either. This country has failed in so many ways on as far as mental illness, all over, man.
Yeah,
it's such a shithole country right now. I hate to say it. we're so bad, man. We've done so many bad things. Our politicians have done nothing but get rich, and get richer, man. All these guys are millionaires, living in big houses and building generational wealth for their families. And the American people vote them in office. I mean, that's our system. We vote them in to do things for us, but they don't do nothing. Like, I mean, we're the only country that don't have all of these things, that other countries have. Other countries have health insurance. We're supposed to be the richest country in the world. We gave out the least money during the pandemic to the least money. Like Canada gave their citizens more money during the pandemic to survive than we did. Sweden, I mean, all these other countries that don't even have the money we're supposed to have. And then a war breaks out, and they send millions of dollars over to billions of dollars with a B. I'm sorry, over to Ukraine, but we had to beg you for a $300 check, and the Republicans didn't even sign off on none of it. Like, no, we're not giving you $1 million. We're not giving you $300. You're not getting no money. No, the Republicans refused to give Americans a $300 check. But all those same Republicans had to agree with Biden to send that money over to Ukraine.
I'm telling you, I think they flipping our reparation money.
You could be correct.
So Gina is asking, what's the solution? I mean,
the solution to what, Gina? We said a lot of things. To what?
The therapy, I guess. I don't know about getting people therapy.
Yeah, we need to
mental health.
We need to talk more about mental health awareness. It is life coaches out there. It is counselors out there, therapy out there. It's out there. We just got to reach out there and research and look. If you really want that help, you can look for it. It's just, going out there and making that step. It is Black therapists. Maybe that should be the next, show we should have, is find us some Black therapists that can be able to talk and be able to help, because a lot of us need it. We are normalizing dysfunction. Nobody cannot tell me that same man that did that, their family knew that something was wrong with him and nobody said anything. They probably covered it up. Oh, that's just crazy Uncle Joe. Don't mind him or something like that. They probably knew something was wrong with him. He was a tick boom, and nobody did anything about it.
So we're all traumatized. I mean, we all have our things, right, Carl?
I have things on my mind and I just don't think nobody cares. Even the people close to me that you would think I would be able to talk to and express myself and tell them I feel. I just don't think anybody cares, so I just keep it all inside. You know what I mean? I don't have anyone to talk to. I mean, I have people to talk to. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. We feel nobody cares. Who cares? You know what I mean? Just deal with it yourself. That's the feeling. Deal with it yourself. Nobody cares about anything you're going through. You know what I mean? And
somebody
keep it inside.
Somebody said, who was it that said it? They said, it was motivational speaker Les Brown said, I get the quote right. He goes, most people don't want to hear your problems, and then most people are happy you have them. Yeah, most people don't want to hear your problems, and most people are happy you have them, and they don't have them. So so you're right, Carl.
No, it does happen, and I have spoke, because a couple of people in my family suffer with mental illness, and that's what happens when you really need somebody. For some reason, nobody's around when you need them, or when you really wanted to talk, But it's always someone, because I know I felt that way. I had one and only one panic attack in my life, and it's because I was going to a situation I didn't want to be there no more. And that's another thing I tell people: if you're not happy, please move, because it will mess with your mental. I called everybody. I mean, my mother, my father, my sister, nobody called but my one client, and I called her, and she was like, "You're having a panic attack. Breathe. Walk back home," and it's got better. And I was able to, deal with it. And I said, now I'm never going to push myself. So a lot of us is going through it, like you said, Carl, and we don't know what are the next step. You know who else is good? Ian Iyanla. I went through so much, and her book saved me. So if I want to recommend anything to anyone, please read her books. Her books are amazing, and
I
it
have a couple of
helps
her
you.
books. I have a few of her books, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Donna says, Carl, I care. I know you care, Donna. We talk
Mhm.
regularly on the phone, and I know you care. But especially being a man, and let's be honest, men are we are seen as you're a man, deal with it. You know what I mean? Man up, don't cry. You know what I mean? It's harder for men to get help because we're supposed to be the ones, the glue that's holding everything together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear a man's problems. You're a man.
Mhm.
Deal
Right.
with it. You know what I mean? You don't want to see you blubbering. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're supposed to be the person who's supposed to go outside at 3 o'clock in the morning if there's, you know what I mean, something, there's a noise outside. You're supposed to get up and be a man, go deal with it. If you have emotional problems, if a girl leaves or if there's anything emotional, you're not allowed to show emotions as a man.
Mhm.
It's just the way the world works. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just the way the world works. If you see a man crying on a bench in the park and you see a woman crying on a bench in the park, 99% of people, oh, what's wrong with her? Is she okay? You see a man crying, you know what I mean? Like, there's nobody cares.
You know what
And
happened to me?
it seems like that, but don't feel like that, Carl, because I have been in situations where I have saw people crying, and I have empathy and sympathy for other people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But I
go
mean,
over
in
and
general, I
say
know there
hello.
are some people, you know what I mean? I know I'm saying nobody cares, but most people really, men don't really get the same attention as women when it comes to emotional stuff, or, you know what I mean? For some unknown reason, we are supposed to be tough it out, deal with it, get up, go to work, take care of your family, come back home. We don't want to hear what happened during the day. You know what I
Right.
mean? Deal with it. You hear women say stuff like they had a hard day at home, and you know what I mean, and they don't feel men are sensitive to what they're doing. Yeah, men deal with stuff too. We deal with stuff too, and
Right.
yeah, I just
hmm
feel like we are. You know what I mean? We're
Professor Griff said that. He said nobody's here to listen to us, but I'm listening.
yeah.
And women, that's a message. Listen to your men.
Once
Listen to your children, your boy children. We be telling our boy children, be a boy, be a man.
yeah,
No, let him be a boy. You understand? Talk. Let him be able to communicate. That's our problem. We don't know how to have a conversation. We don't know how to communicate or think about how other people feel. We all being selfish. We cannot be selfish all the time. We have to think about how others will feel. And
once
that's
again,
men, that's women, and children.
once again, our brother that was on, it came on when Professor Griff was on. What's up, brother? He says, I offered possible solutions, but I get ignorant comments and Griff asking dumb questions. I don't know if he's saying that Griff was saying he was asking dumb questions. Once again, I love his point of view. I on the if I'm on and I've tried to get inside once again's head. I think his whole thing is if black people will unite, you know, that everything will be fine. I know that's it for life. What's up, information man? What's up, brothers? Thanks for checking in.
No, we understand that
Okay, he said he once again said Professor Griff is an idiot. I would not.
Okay, here we go. Okay, what we're not going to do is call names. Okay, if we ain't never disrespect you once again, I don't want you to be able to disrespect anybody, especially somebody that we had a guest on this show. We respect your views, we respect your opinions, and yes, you have some good points. And then sometimes we disagree, and it's okay because we're human. So please, we ask you again, and to anybody, we will not disrespect anyone on this show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Facts. Amen. Yeah, because we everybody has different points of views. Everybody have different experiences. As we said, Professor Griff doesn't need me to take care of him. He can take care of himself, but he's not here. So let me just say, we had him on the show as a guest to give us his point of view from the music industry that he's been in at a high level, being a part of one of the most successful rap groups ever, and being around, Def Jam Records and all that stuff. And, he shared his point of view. If you don't believe his point of view, then, it's all good. Nobody's forced to believe anything, but yeah, as far as, calling out guest names, man. That's not cool, man. Because he's coming back on the show.
Yes.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, just because you don't agree with him doesn't make anyone an idiot. And that's the one thing when I started the show, Kevin could tell you, we're not going to call people names. I want you to come on and I never called you an idiot. We never called you an idiot. You know, I don't think I think you have a point of view that should be heard.
But then did we just finish a segment? Did we just finish a segment about black people disrespecting black people? The brother who just walked into the subway, sub shop and killed the young lady and injured the other lady in front of her 5-year-old daughter, shot her in front of her. Did we just finish talking about that?
Yes.
Then we get a brother come on the show called another brother idiot.
But this is when we
on a show that's trying to bring positivity and solutions.
Right. And this is when we have to just put our people in check. And it's a healthy check. It's not into a disrespect. It's just keeping it real. We don't want to do that. We don't want to call that energy. I know I didn't come on this show for that energy because I would have never invited him there and him there here to the show to share his views about what he knows for the past 40 years. So definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again says I continue to watch the show because I care, but as a people, we need to be realistic. I get what he's saying. Sharon Gooden says mental health therapy is stigmatized in our community.
Yes, it is. It is.
True.
But don't be afraid. It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna live.
Once again, he has another comment. He says, "Great. Can any of you tell that young woman, the young woman that got shot at Subway, can any of you tell that young woman's family that some secret meeting is to blame for her health, for her death? Meaning, remember, Professor Griff said there was a secret meeting in the record industry. They were going to push gangster rap and kind of.
I'm trying not to throw no shade, but it's about to come. Okay.
I mean, that's why we have the show. I mean, once again, it's saying if you whatever you have to say. Once again, I mean, we're not. You know what I mean? If you dispute what he's saying,
that has nothing to do with what Professor Griff was talking about. We're just talking in general. That man had no right to take 2 lives. Okay, this is the conversation. That has nothing to do with that. So stop.
I think what Griff is saying is what we talked about, like Michael Jackson using the word kite in one of his records. They Don't Care About Us was the song. Mm-hmm. And the Jewish music executives made him take that out of his record. And at that time, Michael Jackson was the most powerful and famous entertainer walking this planet. And he still had to remove that word that offends Jewish people from his album. And they destroyed all those CDs and redid them. And I think what Griff was saying was those same record executives those are the same people who are okay with the N-word being and the violence being in a lot of these rap songs. And we all know, well, we should know, I know, because I've done my research, what went down with gangster rap. We know that, I was just driving 5 hours the other day up the road through the mountains, and I had on Sirius XM, and I'm listening to Rock the Bell station on Sirius XM, which is LL Cool J's music station, and they basically play all 90s rap. And I'm listening to all the old school stuff, and there was no gangster stuff in that. From the 80s, no gangster stuff, man. It was no guns, no bitches, no hoes. I'm just listening to this Rock the Bell radio for like 2 hours. Just listen to all the old school guys, man. Redman, and all these people, man. Naughty by Nature. It was just back-to-back songs. I'm going, wow, I forgot how good rap was. It was amazing. Just listening to that station for 2 hours. I'm driving through the mountains, man. So, and then all those rappers from that era got pushed to the side to make room for Biggie and Tupac. And I'm a big fan of both of those guys, but a lot of their music, you know, and Tupac was very complicated because he did both. He talked
Yeah.
the conscious thing and he talked the gangster thing. He was confused, you know, because he did both. But you know, and then so the gangster music was pushed on our people. We can't even sit here and act like it wasn't. It was the gangster rap was pushed on our community.
Okay,
That's not even it's not even a debate.
let me not kind of push back, but just because they push gangster rap on the community, and I think this is what once again is saying, do we have to do it? Just because
Yes, I'll explain it to you. Remember the movie where Eddie Murphy played Trading Places?
Yeah.
It was a comedy, right? It was a comedy, but it had a lot of real stuff about that comedy. Eddie Murphy was a homeless guy, and they switched places with the rich guy, and the rich guy became homeless, and he became a criminal. And Eddie Murphy was now a guy who was living on the streets, was now running a multi-million-dollar company and doing good, right?
Right.
So my point is, when you genocide a people, you genocide a people. Between the gangster rap, when you hear something every day, Carl, and you see something every day in your life, when you cut on your radio, or the most popular thing in the world is NWA or Biggie, and you all they talk about is guns. I'll give you a perfect example. The first rapper that really made sagging jeans popular was Nelly. I mean, he was the one that blew up the sagging jeans. You still see guys walking around with sagging jeans now, and Nelly ain't had a hit in years. And guys walking with their pants sagging down. But he was the first one to make that fashion really super popular, right? So now, every time you see Nelly now, he's dressed in a Brooks Brothers suit. He don't even wear he don't even dress like he did when he was a rapper, when he was a hit rapper. Now the dude is in a tie and a suit every time you see him in a magazine. You know, Jay-Z, another guy. Every time you see Jay-Z now, you know, he ain't dressed like he was when he was a rapper. These guys made millions of dollars pushing this negative rap on our people, Carl. And now they're grown men with millions of dollars in the bank, and now they're mature and they're no longer living that street life. They're now got families. They got daughters that are teenagers and young women in their 20s now. And you know, and Jay-Z don't want to call women bitches and hoes no more because he got a daughter that's 12 years old now, you know? So yeah, you can genocide a people through music. Music is the most powerful thing in the world. That's why when James Brown put out I'm Black and I'm Proud, white society had a problem with it because there were a lot of black people walking around talking about I'm Black and I'm Proud and putting their fists up, you know? So yeah, when you got a James Brown, or when you got people singing love music like they did in the 90s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, you got Earth, Wind, and Fire. Listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire lyrics compared to the lyrics of today. Earth, Wind, and Fire music made you feel good, uplift your spirit, you know? Even the Isley Brothers sang love songs, you know? We don't have that today. You cut on the radio now, and you know what you hear.
Yeah, big
you know?
slut.
So yeah, it is. So yes, music is very powerful, Carl.
And they also promote drugs.
Look, nobody makes you go out and shoot nobody. You're right. I listen to gangster rap all my life. I ain't gone out and shot nobody.
Right.
But everybody's brain is not that way. Some people are going to get caught up in the Kool-Aid, and they're going to walk around with their pants sagging. You know, a lot of people. You know, like a lot of reggae artists, reggae, for example, and you probably know more about reggae than me, Carl, because where you're from, I would suspect. But a lot of reggae people, artists smoke marijuana, I would believe. Am I stereotyping or am I correct?
No, you're correct.
Okay, so it's part of the culture there, right?
Because the way they think, anything comes from the earth can't be bad. That's the way.
And they're correct about in most cases they may be correct about that, right? So that's but they're raised that way, right? So it's not here. When guys started rapping about blunts and 40s. You know, back in the day, it was blunts and 40s and Uzis and all these music
It was
rap.
that era.
And that's what all these, and the pants sagging and all that stuff. That's and glorifying gangster. Tupac, one of the deepest brothers ever, had Thug Life tattooed on his freaking six-pack. You know? So on one record, this dude is telling you he knows what's going on in this system. Don't fall for it. And then in the next record, he falls for it because he talked about thugs and gang banging, you know. But he was doing it for the money though, because he wasn't really a gangster.
Right.
He wasn't really a gangster.
But also, artists can be versatile. You understand? Because you can do a love song, you can do something conscious, and then you can do something explicit. There's nothing wrong with that's how you want to express yourself or something like that. But like you said, this is different eras, different times. Like you said, when we had Earth, Wind, and Fire, that was a lot of love making. We love you, you know, it wasn't all that shoot 'em up, kill 'em up, pop. It wasn't. Like you said, as time went on, the eras went on, and things started changing. And then even look at the music videos. The women were fully clothed. We dressed like boys. We had a little t-shirt, baggy stuff, like you said, the baggy thing, and it wasn't nothing. But as time went on, you got big butts and I can't not lie. Everybody started changing, and then Little Kim came, and it's like, and if you want to talk about that, you know, I saw the BET Awards. I was very destroyed by the BET Awards. I thought it was a whole strip. I thought it was a strip club.
Yeah. Yvonne Williams Simmons says we're off topic. She's correct. We always go off topic.
Okay, so we want to go on topic. Listen,
I get what once again saying. I mean, but once again,
you go with once.
We are all not the same. You know, he just said, Carl, I grew up smoking blunts and drinking 40s, and I still graduated high school at 16. I get that, but that's him. You know what I mean? And we're all not the same. People handle situations differently. Some people live in a ghetto, grew up in a ghetto, and they can go home and go sit and study, read books, and not go out and gangbang. Some people live in the same ghetto, and that's all they do is they gangbang. You know, it's the same environment. So even though you can do something, you know why I always mention one, because I felt the same way. And I'll be honest, when I first came to America, I said, this is so easy. Just don't get caught up in it. I mean, you don't have to commit a crime. I mean, I heard the CIA left drugs and guns in the black neighborhoods, and they started selling drugs. I'm like, if you put drugs in front of a person, you don't have to sell them. You know, I've done comedy, and I've been in the green rooms, and there's lines of cocaine on the table. Comedians are snorting lines, and I never touched it.
Right.
But what once again is saying is because it's him. But I have the willpower. And I knew my family would have been disappointed if I ever got on drugs. I could see the disappointment in my dad's face, my mom's face.
That's why I didn't get on drugs, Paul.
Because
drugs. I don't want my mother or anybody to judge me. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
People different. People some people are weak.
That's what he doesn't get. Once again, doesn't get that not everyone has that strength. So we can end it on, you know, and that's the argument he's making. If he can do it, why can't everybody do it?
Okay. And
it's just not logical. You know what I mean? And I get what he's saying, but you know,
I'll just like before we end this segment, just let me say this: for us to pretend that there hasn't been a genocide effort against our people is ludicrous. And everything works: music, drugs, laws passed to put us in prison easily, the whole 9 yards. Ever since Jim Crow ended, since Reconstruction, there's been nothing but a pushback to get us back to where we are. That's why now you can't even hand people water standing in line at an election right now. That's against the law. Really, seriously, America? Of all the things going on, you can't even give an 80-year-old lady a bottle of water at the election line in Georgia because that's against the law? Why? Because who stands in line at 70 years old, 75 years old? Who stands in line to wait to vote. I'll tell you who says, like my mother, who's 78 years old right now, will be standing in line to vote come this November or 4 years from now. So yeah, that's who needs the water. And now they pass a law, Republican, that you can't give senior citizens or anybody water. You can't bring them a sandwich while they're in line. Why would you pass a law like that? Because it only affects black people. So yeah, it's always been a conspiracy. It's always been a conspiracy to bring us down. So why are we pretending that it's not?
And here's what I get. And once again, he grew up in this country, so if I get it, I'm sure he gets it. It's not just they put drugs in a country, put drugs in a certain neighborhood, but they put drugs in, and these people, when they go out for job interviews, they don't get the jobs, even though white people with high school diplomas make more money than black people with college degrees. That's a fact. So they put you in a situation, they put you in a situation where you can't make a decent living. So obviously, if they put you in that situation, you're going to react differently. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put a man in a cage with a pig, right? You don't feed him. After a few weeks, right? He's gonna start gnawing on that pig or whatever, right? Because you put him in the same situation.
We got what's this guy? What's the guy in Congress? The black congressman that we Tim Scott.
Yeah.
We got Candace Owens. I just go down the list, man. and Professor Griffith's the bad guy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we can go. We going back to our black people that made a difference in America.
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
Let's go back to that.
So I have a young lady. I just looked her up. Her name is Shirley Jackson. I think Obama actually gave her a name, named her the co-chair of President Intelligence Advisory. Her name is Shirley Jackson. She is responsible for monumental technology research that led to the invention of products such as the touch-tone phone, portable fax, and fiber optics cables, and the caller ID.
Nice.
Shirley, okay.
Shirley Jackson.
Very nice.
All right, hold on. Let me show this video real quick.
Before Black History Month is over, I wanted to take a moment to give thanks to the POC, pioneers of color, that came before us. During my research, I was blown away by just how many African-American inventions we use on the day-to-day. And it got me thinking just how different life might be if it weren't for Black ingenuity. And though this video could literally be hours long, I narrowed it down to some of my favorites. The automatic gear shift, Richard Spikes. For those of us who hate driving clutch, we have this guy to thank. Though he spent most of his time as a barber, Richard went on to patent a whole bunch of other stuff that we use in modern automobiles. America's first clock, Benjamin Banneker. Rumor has it that Ben built his clock after studying a friend's pocket watch. His family even reported that it ticked until the day he died. Ooh. Automatic elevator doors, Alexander Miles. Without this, we'd have a lot more awkward encounters at work. You know what I'm talking about. The carbon filament and the electric lamp, Lewis Latimer. Do you know how many times I heard about Edison as a kid? Without our boy Lewis here, that idea-stealing hack would have no light bulb. Folding chair, John Purdy. Without this, professional wrestling would be an entirely different sport. Give him the chair, John! The ice cream scooper, Alfred L. Crowell. Need I say more? The modern lock, Washington Martin. Locks, dude. For 4,000 years, locks hadn't changed. This dude rolls along, makes some changes, then we're locking everything up. The refrigerator, Thomas Elkins. Who else had leftovers for dinner last night? Well, don't forget to thank your boy Thomas, because without his improvement to the refrigerator, that meal wouldn't have been possible. The modern toilet, also Thomas Elkins. Ooh, baby, a double. My man Tommy making home and work more comfy, one amenity at a time. The mop, Thomas W. Stewart. What? Were you going to keep using your good towels to clean up spills? Portable pencil sharpener. John Lee Love. Never a dull moment with this guy. I know, I hate me too. Potato chips. George Crumb. My favorite carb delivery system. Though, all jokes aside, it's kind of destiny his name's Crumb, right? Thermostat and temperature control. Frederick Jones. Freddie, my guy, my dude, Arizona salutes you. Modern traffic light. Garrett Morgan. Thanks to Garrett, we don't have to play a game of Frogger every time we want to cross the street. Touchtone telephone, portable fax, caller ID, fiber optic cables, etc. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. Dr. Jackson deserves her own video. You're looking at the mother of modern telecommunications right here. Put some respect on her name. Like I said before, this is all just the tip of the iceberg. And though it's always good to stop and...
You saw that call? You mentioned my girl at the end, Shirley. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we stop inventing stuff?
I think we did. We did everything.
We did everything.
The potato chips, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
The traffic light. Woo.
Yeah, we did a lot. We touched
We still
a lot.
I'm sure we still inventing stuff, man.
Yeah.
Even in our lifetime now, you have people that made a difference. Michael Jackson made a difference in the music industry. You know, you have so many people. I wrote up a lot. You know, I have even had to get into Alvin Ailey. He made a difference in dancing. You know, so it's so many people that made a difference that made America. You know.
Yeah. I mean, should we even care what, as long as we know what Black people did, you know, we should be just happy. I get the feeling that we want acceptance from white people, and we're never going to get that.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want no acceptance.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Personally, but you know what I mean? Like, I just feel in general, we want, you know what I mean? When I say we, I mean, I see a lot of Black people wanting to be accepted, you know. And we talked about this on the show before, where like the Grammys, one of the guys that was on the panel before, Kevin and I, we felt like, you know, why are Black people making such a fuss to get a Grammy or an Oscar? Why can't they just be happy with like a Soul Train award or an NAACP award? And his argument was, you know, you can make more money if you get a Grammy, and if you get an Oscar, you're more valuable. But who's putting the value on that?
No, they crossed over. I feel like it's like a crossover when they win awards, like the Academy Awards, like the next level. You know, yes, there's nothing wrong with us winning our awards, but when you see that, oh, they saw my work, you know, and yes, that could take me up a notch in my career because this is what I wished and prayed for. I don't have a problem with that. I want us to be universal. We are universal.
Right.
Yeah. It's a money thing too. I mean, when you could, you know, like my girl Phyllis Hyman, for example.
Oh, bless her soul.
And she was very upset that because Clyde Davis had grabbed her before he grabbed Whitney, but she never became a pop artist, and she was always depressed about, you know, not being a big pop artist like Whitney. You know, Whitney's a pop, which means when you pop, you're international. You know, your voice is everywhere. Mm-hmm. And she was just a soul/jazz singer, soul singer. You know, and she's very talented, but she just felt like she didn't get what she deserved because of that. You know, and
she was battling her own demons.
Yeah, she had a lot of demons. She eventually committed suicide. And I used to open up for Phyllis Hyman. That was my girl, man. So I toured with her. So yeah.
And listen, let me tell you something. I love her. I always loved her. My mother bought her album, and I had the opportunity to meet her. And when I saw her, it was like the angels of God was singing. It was like, oh, she was tall. She was regal. She was just like, I'm so upset that she didn't even see how beautiful she was and how queenly she was. But she didn't feel that way, you know. And I'm like, but we salute her also. She made a difference too. We love her voice.
So yeah, we've done a lot, man. I mean, that's what I say. Black people, should be so proud coming from slavery to where we are. I mean, we've done so much, as far under all these circumstances. We've invented stuff. We've achieved all this major stuff. We are the GOATs in all this stuff, sports. We weren't even allowed to play sports. And now we're the GOATs, of a lot of sports that we had to fight to get into, right? We think of the greatest boxer ever, whoever it may be, is an African American. You think of the greatest basketball player, no matter who it is an African American,
Yes, that's right. We touch it. Everything we touch turns to gold.
Even Tiger Woods, who doesn't claim he's black. He don't want to be a black man, but he's black and he's the best at golf, right? So he was the coach of golf in a way. So he played the brother.
You already said, Carl, you want acknowledgement, not acceptance. It's true. I guess you want acknowledgement, but you know what I mean? It's like it's never going to come. You know what I mean? And, you might as well accept it and be happy, with.
But it's good, though. I mean, we learn stuff on this show, and we teach people. A lot of people don't know that that a lot of people of color invented the things that they have. So white people watch our show. Now they're learning some things, right? So we're teaching.
And I'm learning too. I'm learning a lot too.
Tiffany, do you have a cup that says Queen on it?
Yes, I do.
I just saw that.
That's Queen of England, the original Queen.
Yeah, thank you. It's actually my friend Serene. She's a writer, and I loved the cup. It was Call Me Queen. So that's what it's called. Call Me Queen.
I crowned you our resident queen, so I thought the cup is appropriate.
Thank you. Blessings.
Yeah. Well, it's Pride Month, so I hope y'all don't see no Queen cups in your tables.
You know what? I'm not.
Hey, you never know. Yeah. Yeah, we know. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up. So today's show, we talked about, the two black women that were shot in Atlanta because some brother had too much mayonnaise on his sandwich. He's got to have some kind. Tiffany thinks he just hates women. There's something definitely going on with him.
Yeah. Ticky tick tick boom.
To shoot people for too much mayonnaise on a sandwich, it's got to be something more than that.
Well, he ain't got to worry about women for the next 50 years. How about that?
Yeah.
Bam.
He won't see no where he going.
And I'm glad that he's off the street. And this, like I said, it should be a message to others. Please have better decisions and choices.
Yeah. And come on, I want to say, I just feel like black people deal with so much. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to add to it. And that's how I live my life. You know what I mean? I try not to get into arguments. If I, get into an argument, if I find that there's going to be some kind of conflict and the other person's black, I just like, and listen, I don't
know. Too nice, Carl. You're too nice.
Nice Carl with the nice hat. No.
Too nice, man. Too nice, Carl. You got toughen up, bro.
Listen, I understand what Carl's saying. Some stuff you can't fight. Certain stuff you just gotta walk past, because I can notice when somebody got that tingly, crazy look in their eye. And if I see that, God bless you. And I'm moving. Because you pick and choose. That's all about making good choices. You pick and choose who you want to fight, because it won't end well.
Yeah. I was at Walmart the other day, a couple weeks ago, and I thought there was two lanes for those self-checkout, cash register things. So there was two lanes, one on the left, one on the right. So I see people standing on the one on the right, one line. So, there was this one guy standing on the one on the right. So I thought there was another line for the one on the left. So I went over and I stood in front of the one on the left. Mm-hmm. The one on the left, the lady finished first before anybody finished on the right. So I started to walk to the one that was open. And this brother goes, "Where the fuck you going?"
Oh!
I said, here. He said, "I'm next." I go, well, I said, I thought you were waiting for that. Well, he said, no, there's one line for the whole thing about, and I said, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know. I thought it was one line for, the one on the right and one line for the one on the left. And he was ready to go over a friggin', check it out.
And you did what you're supposed to do. My bad. Go ahead. Go home. Because I'm not arguing with nobody.
I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Go ahead. I'm not in a rush. I said, I'm not in a rush. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. He could be rushing somewhere
You know
to
what?
his.
He's lucky. He's lucky it wasn't the brother that was pissed about the mayonnaise.
Okay.
I know, right? He might have picked the wrong brother. I'm sure someday he's gonna pick the wrong brother.
Yeah, you be careful.
One day he will, and he'll pay the price for it. It's that easy. It's that easy, man. It's just that quick. That's why just don't blow that horn at nobody no more. Don't eyeball right down and cut you off. Don't get no simple arguments. That quick, man, and it's a wrap.
It didn't deserve all that. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I want to thank everyone for watching today's show. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to our channel. Information Man, thank you for checking in with us, brother. I know you want, back on the show. And everyone, please check out the Information Man show. His show is hot. And like I said, we're trying to big up all the black content on YouTube. Tiffany, anything you learned or you want to share before we go?
Rejection. Everybody goes through it, okay? You win some, you lose some, okay? Move on, okay? If you don't have enough mayonnaise, anything, move on. Ask for another sandwich. Life is too short, okay? To my people, mental health awareness. If you feel like you're going through something, please try to reach out. Or if you know somebody that's going through something, please reach out because we don't want no more of this drama going on. We know it's a part of life. But if we can be able to help or do something, try to do something now. We love you, and please like and subscribe and share.
All right. Kev,
did I learn anything?
Do you want to share anything? Anything to help the people that need therapy? Because we do need therapy. I feel and I know I need therapy because when I'm going to Barbados in like 2 weeks, and when I swear when the plane lands and I get off that plane, I feel like stress just draining from my body. I can feel it, and every person I know from any island that goes back, we just got this sense of, oh my God. I mean, I'm shopping, no one's following me. You know what I mean? There's no one looking at me funny. You know what I mean? I can go into any store. I don't feel like I'm being watched.
That's your home, Carl.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Carl. As you know, I just finished performing in 3 states. It's not very popular with the brothers, but so last night I'm in Maine. I'm in where am I? I went from Maine to Vermont. So, and I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I was stressed because I drove for like 4.5, almost 5 hours and didn't see any black people. So when I finally saw one black person, it was like amazing to me because I stopped at a grocery store up the street from my hotel to get some orange juice and stuff from my hotel room. And I walk in and I see this black girl at the register. And I was like, it was like,
yeah.
It was like this music came over me. It was the most amazing feeling, man.
Yeah.
Because I was driving through these mountains, and I got tinted windows on my car so nobody could see in, but I'm driving through these mountains, and I'm just like, there's no black people but me. I'm by myself going through this beautiful country. Vermont is freaking gorgeous, man. I can't even enjoy it as much as I want to enjoy it because
you're looking over your shoulder.
I'm looking over my shoulder because I know I'm the only brother within 100 miles of me, And that's stressful, man, And you're thinking, what if I get pulled over by a cop up in these woods, in the hills? You're just dealing with all of that anxiety until you get safely to your hotel. Then you still ain't safe because now you're in a town where you still are one of the few black people there, So But then when I got to my show, I had black people in the front row, you know, at my show. You know how happy I was to see that, you know.
So now I understand.
Unfortunately for them, I picked on them for an hour straight, you know. Sit in the front row with Kevin Lee's show, you're going to get it. But yeah, man, but it was, so they got picked on for an hour. But, you know, it was fun, man, just to see your people. So yeah, you know, what you're saying about going home to your country, man, and not feeling that anxiety that you get in America, because it's hard being black in this country, bro. It's hard being black. It really is. We deal with so much just normal stuff that on every day that people just don't even realize. White people don't realize we deal with, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a white comedian that was traveling probably through those mountains that I was traveling through
He
yesterday.
didn't feel like you felt.
That didn't have that inner stress that I had. You know, I had my music blasting. I would go from talk radio. I listen a lot of talk radio. So I cut on my talk radio for an hour, then I cut my music on. I go back to my talk radio, then I go back to my music, you know. So I'm just cruising. I'm trying to enjoy the beautiful ride, be safe. I saw signs, watch out for moose. You don't want to hit a 7-foot moose. You hit a deer, your car is going to get ruined. You hit a moose, you're going to get ruined. So, because moose, it's huge, man. So I saw signs, watch out for moose, you know, and I'm like, oh, I got to watch out for moose now, and black bears and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was, when you get to a city like that, you just see one black person, your whole world just changed. You saw that one black person, man. That was, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm sure white people think, well, what do? We don't do anything. We don't, you know what I mean? But it's subtle, but it's especially it's like a look of fear, you know, and to see you in that look of fear, and you say to yourself, am I so scary? You know what I mean? And even though it shouldn't bother you, it does bother you.
You go into a gas station, Carl, when you're traveling like that, and you go into a gas station, and you know you're the only black person in that town, man. You know, I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts to get me a frozen coffee. And I was like, I normally go through the drive-thru, but the drive-thru was long. I said, man, I'm going inside. I walk inside, and these 3 white girls working behind the register looked at me like, you know, and, you know, they looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, where you
and
come
I'll be
from?
looking
You know?
at them like I'm going to grab my pocketbook because I
Like,
don't
where
trust
you come from, you know? Because
I'll be looking at them like, oh my God, there's so many of them. Jesus.
They're just not
I don't
used to
want to
seeing
get
brothers
stolen.
walking through their store, man. That's all. You can see the look on their face. They're just not used to seeing black men walk into their Dunkin' Donuts because it's just not something that happens.
We've been living together for how many hundreds of years, and they still are not used to us. That blows my mind.
I'm not used to them. They make me scared.
Well, they're not used to us, Carl, because the statistics show us that we have most white people don't even have black friends. Do some research on this. We'll do a show on this coming up. Most white people don't even have black friends. And most of them only see black people as co-workers on their jobs. I read up on this. I mean, it's crazy how still in this day and age, a lot of white people don't. I mean, we have friends called colleagues that we know through comedy that if they weren't comedians, they probably wouldn't even have any black friends.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, it's crazy. I mean, that we live in a world in America where I can walk into a Dunkin' Donuts and people do a double take because they're not used to a brother coming into that Dunkin' Donuts. Like, it's like, what? It's 2022. We had a black president. You don't see black people? You know?
I know this is gonna, but I don't understand the fear. I really don't understand the fear of black people. I don't understand it. The fear, this how we make them scared.
You already know, Carl, we talked about this.
Yeah.
They know what they did to us. Yeah. So they are always scared because they think we're going to do it back to them, which we don't care. We're not thinking about that. We're just trying to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know,
I was having a Facebook debate with this cat today, man. Who posted some silly shit that I ran across. And, you know, I cut back on my Facebook debates, man, but this pissed me off. So, you know, we're talking about Trump. He's a Trump supporter, a Hispanic dude, Trump supporter. And he comes on and tells me, you know, he works with kids. I work with kids. And I mentor black kids, you know. And I was like, well, you mentor black kids. That's a good thing. But you voted for a racist administration and a racist president. And he goes into Biden was a racist and all this sort of stuff, or whatever. But still, but my point is, he goes, well, I'll apologize for racism in the past. First of all, you're a Hispanic dude. Tell me you're Hispanic, and then you go tell me you apologize for the past. You know, like, dude, it's not the past. Why do everybody think that racism doesn't exist anymore?
Because they don't deal with it. They don't go through it. And why nobody can't keep their votes private? I don't care who you vote for. Keep it to your daggone self.
Because we have social media, and social media has changed the game. So now we live in a world where people are proud to admit that, you know, hey, you voted for Biden, you voted for Trump, you voted for Obama, you voted for Hillary, you voted for, you know, I mean, that's what we live at now. Back in the day, I never knew nobody voted for Reagan. I never knew nobody voted for Clinton, you know?
Interesting. They always tell black people, forget, you know, why can't we forget slavery? It's in the past, you know, I mean, it's gone. Why you got, yet still, right? Yet still, you got some Nazi who's 100 years old who left Germany and is living in some other country. Like there was a Nazi that was living in Brazil. He was like 85 years old. They tracked him down, right? They tracked him down, brought him back, put him on trial, and put him in jail for his Nazi, for his war, for his crimes against the Jews.
Wow.
Like, how come they don't tell the Jews? Leave that guy alone. That was in the past. How come nobody tells the Jews to forget about, you know, that Nazi? But they want us, you know what I mean, to put our stuff in the past.
Well, it's not that easy like that. They're not going to forget. We can't forget. That's the point. They're not going to. They want us to forget, but we as people, we cannot forget. We run our own homes, so we can be able to teach that to our family, our friends. Don't forget where we came from. We came a long way, and we survived.
Yeah, but we shouldn't forget. It's part of the American history. Why do you guys want to forget this? It's, if they would accept it, talk about it, we can get over the hump. But the fact that they try to deny, you know, that's why it's going to keep going. Because they don't ever want to accept that it did happen.
Mm-hmm. They'd be all right.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you so much for
watching,
being part of our
watching.
Thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Please check out the Information Man Show. Please tell the people you love that you love them.
Yes.
I can't stress that enough.
Yes.
Here, forever. We talked about the 2 girls that got shot at the subway. I guarantee they didn't think that day was going to be their last day. They were at work expecting they were going to go back home.
And what was your? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to prolong the show. I just want to say one more thing. And I'm gonna say this every show until something's done about it. Free Brittany Garner. It's out of control. We're not doing enough to get that basketball player back in the United States.
I want to know where's the LGBTQ at, and where is the parade, and where all of them fighting. They need to get that girl back, but we all know what's that about.
They're not. I don't think it's not enough going on to get that girl out of that jail cell, man. She's, you know, it's what I don't know what's going on, but
where is Saxophone Clinton at now?
They need to get her out of there, man. And if it was Tom Brady, people going crazy right now.
Lori Lightfoot, somebody.
Yeah, somebody needs to do something to get her out of there. I don't mean to prolong the show. I just want to bring that up. That she's still. We need to bring attention to that every week until she's released, man.
Let's keep that up. What's her name? Brittany. What's her name?
Garner. That's her name, right? Her last name, Brittany Garner.
I think so. I don't know.
Brittany Garner. Yeah.
I saw her on TMZ. Her eyes was like this. She like, after them eyes said, "Get me out of here."
You saw her eyes. Yeah, she looks traumatized, man.
Get me out of here now. I'm crazy.
Yeah, they had a picture of her in the courtroom yesterday, and her eyes were like, she looked traumatized. She's probably being abused, man.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for her.
I'm done.
I feel so bad for her, man. Brittany Garner. Yeah, we gotta get her out of there, man. So let's try to keep a spotlight on that, Carl.
I hope somebody that's watching can do something for her. And like Kevin said, if she was Tom Brady or, yeah, I mean, well, like they say, she doesn't have the complexion for the protection. You know. So.
Yeah, and she's not. She's a gay woman.
Yeah,
that's another thing. You know, we gotta stress that too. You know, You know, if y'all want some rights, y'all need to go over there and either say something, write some letters, send some flags over there. Y'all need to go and get your girl.
Yeah, I mean, the gay community seems to have a lot of pressure, and I mean, like, you know, they can shut down artists. You know what I mean? They can.
But Russia doesn't give a rat's about.
Oh
the
yeah,
gay
they don't
community.
care.
So,
They don't care. That's why they got her.
So they can't really do anything. Our government has to do something. They have to, you know, there's people that know Putin that talk to him that can say, man, let this girl go, man. I mean, it's you know, it's something going on. So I don't know. But she's been a prisoner. She's been held as a prisoner to get back to the United States because
and she better not go around there no more either. Once she get out of there, I would not be going back to Russia.
I think all American athletes. I think all American athletes shouldn't go back there. Tiffany.
I don't care how much money you give me. I'm not working over there.
Exactly. Well, the WNBA need to pay their players more money too, because those girls are grossly underpaid, and you know, unfortunately, they got to go to Europe and make good money because the United States aren't paying them good money like they pay the male players. You know.
Well,
so
we see what happened. They got
a whole other show, right?
Sad.
That's another show.
Yeah.
Once again, women get treated badly in America. Shocking.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching the show. Please, we'll be back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I think I got that right. Please share, subscribe. And Kevin will be back with his Obama hat. And, Tiffany will be back with her queen. Let me see that cup again. Queen. That's right. You are. Call me queen. That's right. Tiffany's our resident.
Shout out to Serene.
Tiffany, you're a makeup artist, right? Is that?
Yeah, hair and makeup, and I'm a beauty coordinator.
Okay.
Director of Fashion Week Brooklyn. I do anything with fashion, arts, beauty, all of that.
All right. So check out Tiffany. She has a Facebook page. Check out Kev to check out his comedy tour dates. And we will see you guys back here again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Good night, everyone. We love you. And I mean that. We love you for.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you all.
Take time out of your night to spend with us, and we truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
With the knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow, the Black Therapy Show. We in a safe space, dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Because we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know, with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We're giving you empathy, we gon' challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built on your school. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God above. No, it's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show.